20-year-old Jacob Michot, the Woodworth man who pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including rape, was sentenced today.
Michot received 25 years on a count of third-degree rape, 7 years each on 2 counts of indecent behavior with a juvenile, and 5 years on 1 count of pornography involving juveniles. Those charges are the result of incidents involving multiple juvenile victims in 2020 and 2021.
All sentences will run concurrently. The rape charge and pornography charge are without the benefit of probation, parole, or suspension of sentence. He'll receive credit for time served. That's custom dating back to December of 2021.
We're really pleased with the sentence that we've got. Obviously, this was a really big case that affected many members of our community, and the sentence that was handed down was harsh, and it needs to be. The crime that we were sentencing for was very serious, and when it has such a widespread impact, it's nice to see justice dispensed fairly and appropriately.
Meanwhile, Michot's defense attorney George Higgins had this to say about his client's sentence. Quote, "The sentence was more than we expected. However, we are optimistic that after filing an appeal, the sentence will be reduced somewhat."